ulti.TV.
Well, back to back we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the New South Wales Ultimate Championships of 2022, held in, well, the weather's normally great here, but not so much today. Raymond Terrace. My name is Daniel Clinton. I'll be your commentator again for this match. Krank from Wollongong, the men's team out of the Windy City, versus the Manly Mullets, the Division 1 men's team. Big outside in pull, get us going. And Krank will go on offense to begin with. Keys. You're going to see a bit of this, I would imagine. Oh, that's a speculative one. He's completed, actually. And now Krank will score that first point of the game. That's 1-0. Well, when we saw the draw, the first drafts of the draw, this is a game that excited us. So much so that we adjusted the draw. Just wait for the 2:30 flight from, this one would be from Adelaide. 2:30 flight flies overhead. And 1-0 now. All day we've seen the effects of time cap rules. Haven't seen any fight backs because of it. No long runs at the end of the game for a team to come back into a game that the gap has created. It's just kind of end once we hit that 70-minute mark. Outside in pull.
Here we go, Manly!
It's a deep, deep pull. Dave O'Brien will let that one go.
Get hungry, Manly, feeling in the bones here.
So O'Brien will go to the brick mark and will put the Manly offense in play. A bit of a swilly throw. It works out and Manly score very quickly. Sometimes luck is being willing to roll the dice. That throw is definitely a big roll of the dice. Blading through the air. It's completed though. Krank, Manly Mullets, now 1-1 in the game. So the throw, see, here's the thing, right? Like, so the receiver was there, it was open, but the throw came a little bit late, which allowed the defense time to adjust. Probably made it look worse than what it strictly was. So, Manly now on defense.
Okay, Manly, let's have some fun.
Looking forward to getting to know both these teams. Lots of young guns out there on both sides. Krank and Manly, both up and coming. Manly with a burgeoning youth scene. The youth league is going great guns. That's a big inside out. It's a humongous inside out. It's actually going to go out. And that disc is Actually a little bit damaged from that. Ground with some force. That was Moss. Cool. Some running repairs on the disc as it comes to the brick mark. You can un-taco a disc much as what's being demonstrated there. Just pull the edges and straighten it out a bit. Davis finds a reset. Krank. Working their way down the field. Oh, throwing the poachers there. The Manly get a turn. And they'll go to work now. A big thank you to Annalise Edich giving me some names and numbers. What an absolute legend. Our best to her and her recovery in her injury that seen her taken out from this tournament. Pretty much said which foul. There's like 3. He's like, take your pick, man. I don't think Faulkner is too dirty on Manly for calling anything there. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. I think this may turn into a really great rivalry between two teams that are similar parts of their development. Manly going through the hands. So Jeffrey trying to get it to Moss, and Jeffrey will get it back. They're both wearing number 12, so Moss is in the long sleeve. Jeffrey in the short sleeve. Jeffrey finding it down the field. It's Moss. The poach is nearly there. Pass that nearly goes through the hands of Pastors. Pastors is going to float it out for Moss, who jumps it in. A nice score there. Manly with some cool, calm and collected offense. You'd expect that out of a much more seasoned team, so that is an excellent sign. This Krank team has been developing very nice, steady, consistent rate over the last few years. They find themselves now in possession of what is nominally the 4th seed. An excellent showing for a team and a city that never really known for its ultimate, and well, that's changing. Wollongong quickly becoming one of the places. Keys out of McCabe to space. Obi Ryan is looking at nothing. He comes up empty. So Manly now will go to work. Eng and the white bucket had a nice inside break. Richards again. He's going to call a foul. See, actually, Leia in the background, his hand's cupped in front of him. This is a signal that is used to show that I have a perspective. Generally, you need to be called into the discussion to offer that perspective. So Richards still has it. Resets to the other Richards on this Manly team. There's Branko Jarek. And that's a turnover. Miller, a wayward throw from him. Fulford, McCabe, and now Keys. Keys gestures under. Wanting that up towards the disc. Fulford again. Fulford. Jack Gray. Nice throw into the middle of the field. And Andy Mitchell. Fulford. Driving this offense and everything right now. Looks at the break, can't get it against Jarek. Oh, then sneaks it through. And through the hands, capping the move is Jack Gray. That's another score for Krank. 2-all now. This is a real sneaky throw, just threading the needle between two. Mitchell and then Gray. Well, that is a great start to this game. It is close. You can tell that both these teams evenly matched. It's going to come down to some great ultimate to really split the difference here. And split the difference we must. This is to figure out what seed each of these teams gets moving forward. We're heading towards the end of pool play. Krank just sorting out their defense. You see John O'Keefe making his way off the field. Keys who has burst onto the scene. Still under 20. O'Brien picks it up. He goes to Pastors. There's Moss. O'Brien. O'Brien. And, oh, what a nice grab up high that is. That's a goal. Calder goes upstairs to catch the O'Brien huck. As soon as Dave O'Brien got that disc, he knew, he just sensed it. Goes to the forehand and thought for a moment it was going to get big on him. It didn't. Read was perfect. Still very tight here. Very even in this match. Can't help but imagination just takes over a little bit. You got to wonder what's going to be the difference. How are we going to split these teams? Is it going to be just an unforced error, inexperience, perceived pressure that is the difference, or is it going to be just a massive play? Is it going to be one play? Manly massively offside. Is it going to be one play, or is it going to have to be multiple plays? McCabe. Flood trying to create space for Keys to get it. Fulford. Gray. Gray goes underneath to Kobe Bryant. McCabe again through Fulford. Krank offense with good timing and flow so far. There's the throw to Gray in the end zone. I'm going to be saying that a bit. Jack Gray, quite the receiver. He's a massive threat. And just stopping to have a bit of a chat. Mitchell, and then the timing is Gray. Three all. I imagine that the game on the other field, Sunder v Status Quo, that one might be over quickly. Status Quo wanting to go to Div 1. And at the moment they're nominally seeded 5th. 8th rather, sorry, I should say. 8th in that pool. I don't think that they will get the bid. And speaking of not bidding, Noah Moss is way away from that one. That backhand from Pastors. Opportunity for Krank. There's a nice throw deep. Krank. Booth. Wearing the mark from Pastors. I don't know if Pastors knows much about Australian Ultimate, but Tim Booth is not unfamiliar to throwing it away, but also to a bit of contact on the mark. Holder is gone, and just for a moment there, he wondered, is he going to fly here? Is the young man just going to grow wings and take off? Faulkner is actually going to call an injury here. He looks very, very unhappy. Threw the hat off it. The sense that maybe is a soft tissue injury of some description. He's walked off the field and immediately laid down in amongst the Wollongong sideline. Turnover stands, and Krank now play offense. Branko Yarrick reading it the best. A nothing throw from Krank. Manly to get a life, and Moss to pick up for Manly. He's looking for that inside, and the miscommunication in what's been a clean start. Moss! Humongous from the young Moss. Like his American namesake, he has made an amazingly athletic play. Miller to Moss. Pastors. Yarrick. Moss. Now Manly, oh, that throw is going to float. There's a lot under it. Ryan. He set a pivot, so he has to play from there. Keys is going to go a big backhand as far as he can in the direction of Booth. Booth! All of a sudden, the game is just broken open completely. A throwaway now. Keys. Booth. That's Ryan. Booth again. Keys. Low throw. Keys looking for the lefty. Keys on the doorstep. He's gonna call a foul, and Malone instantly gesturing uncontested. Keys pivots, gets the reset. Ryan goes fast, 1-2. Ryan outside in for the score. Krank. Krank get the goal. So 4-3. Love this move from Ryan. It's the best thing you can do. You see Keys just drift into the space, so you go back to him, 1-2, 1. And then a nice outside in. No. This game is just so fascinating as well. This chance we've really gotten a chance to have a look at Krank and this Division 1 team from Manly. Look forward to watching both of their campaigns with great interest. Booth the pull. Very, very high. Brian settles underneath it. Gets it straight back into the middle. That's Eng. Eng is going to go with the backhand. It's outside in. That's a nice block. Krank with another opportunity now. Booth giving instructions as he moves to the disc. I wonder, is he allowed to do that? Technically, yes. As long as the offense is moving at a consistent pace towards the disc and isn't wasting time. Person walking to it can give instructions, marshal their offense. Booth breaks through the containment of the zone. Manly have decided to throw. Another nice piercing throw. Wollongong. It's a windy place, so you would have to imagine that they're pretty comfortable with Krank B. Booth. Nichols now. Nichols. Oh, towards Jack Gray, who catches that. Throw was a little bit wobbly. But we have a defined leader now. Krank up 5-3 in this match. Jack Gray signaling from the far side of the field. Never in doubt. holding his ankle a little bit on the catch. What a situation Manly find themselves in. They're not down at this at the moment, but they're going to need to find a way to get a point on the board. Falling behind too early is death knell. This really not allowing for anything really in the way of comebacks. So the goal thrower, Nichols, with the disc in hand. And it will be an outside in. Roll stopped. Deng will pick it up and get the Manly offense going. Deng. Calder. Nice early reset to keep the offense moving. Calder. Somehow Jeffrey has found himself in a lot of space. Moss. O'Brien. And Booth on O'Brien. There's an old school matchup. Those two having played against each other many a time over the years. Pastors. Seems to prefer that low release backhand, stepping forward and out rather than throw a forehand. Discussion as to who's going where. I think the players are settled. Butler. Nichols with the poach lay. Gets a piece of it, but Calder comes up with it anyway. 5-4. That's exactly what Manly needed. They've answered the call there. Not letting themselves get too far behind in this game. Now, have an opportunity to really get back in this. Break here. It's well and truly on. But on the other side of that same coin would be, if Krank managed to score, you're not going to be too upset if you're Manly. You're not going to convert a break every opportunity on defense. You just need a couple. This will be their first opportunity. As long as they take one opportunity, at minimum, they'll be okay. But in some respects, it's much like a striker in soccer. You've got to take your opportunities, and you prefer to take the first one. The roll gets stopped. Mitchell, big backhand towards McCabe. It's to McCabe's advantage. That is just gigantic throw by Andy Mitchell. Aiden McCabe. The outside in. Talking about opportunities and creating opportunities. There's not much of anything there. Pressure, defensively speaking. few minutes to go. We ticked over the half-hour mark, so getting towards the halfway mark in terms of time. It's a little ways off the half-time mark in terms of score. Krank would need to score the next 2 in a row to actually get us there. I'd like to think that Manly would at least score 1 in that time. Ideally, they'd score 2. Ideally, they'd score 4, but big things are built in small amounts. A wayward throw. Krank go on offense. On a throw that just goes through the hands. So Miller picks it up and goes fast. Through the hands to Butler and then Calder. Calder to Butler. There it is to Jarek. And Manly. After a little bit of a wobble. They get it back from Krank and they convert. 6-5. Just awareness there from Jack to find the that inside space, know where the threat is on the score. Threat is on the field to threaten the scoreboard. Now Manly, their next opportunity to break. Moss with the disc in hand. He will pull for his Manly Mullets D-line. That pull is no good. Mitchell off the back of that massive huck the last time we saw him. Kobe Ryan's just gone, trying to get away. Eventually comes all the way back under to get this. Ryan with a low release break to Jack Gray. To Mitchell. Gets away from Butler, released at Narf and goes for the inside break. That's a score from Krank. Manly needs to do something to create some sort of pressure at the moment because Krank, their offense is clicking. Finding it easy. Moving their way through the Manly defense. Stall really not increasing very high, and as a general rule, the stall count can be a good indicator as to the amount of pressure being applied at any given moment. Kobe Ryan, excellent excellent low release. Shout out to everyone tuning in at home. A lot of Alex Swan fans by the looks of it. Manly on offense. Big swing out towards Dave O'Brien. O'Brien with a nice flat backhand to Jarek, who's dropped it. Krank will take possession now and be on offense. They score this point, they will take half. Big moment now. Manly defense has to stand strong. They need to create some pressure here. They need to slow this offense down, and well, easier said than done. They play a bracket on the receivers. Keys finds Ryan. Ryan trapped at the moment. There's a big throw by Tembu towards Jack Gray. Big receiver who jumps it from halfway to the brick mark into the end zone. It's not some bad athleticism from the big Jack Gray. Well, that's half time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to some replays. We'll be back for the second half here shortly.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
So, the second half begins. Both teams quick out of the huddle, trying to get the game on with. O'Brien resets to him. Angus thrown not a great one. Fulford. There's a reset to Wiseman. And through hands. What a huge block that is. That was an outstanding D. Moss gives it a thump, but Keys plays it the best. Where's the layout from Butler? And Moss goes horizontal. Fulford. Fulford again. Throw back to the middle. Through Ferguson. Ferguson is going to get it to Fulford. Nice adjustment on the force there. Jewel getting around the first force the wrong way. You hear the adjustment calls. Oh, Butler again. This team's starting to really give it their all here. Fulford, some casual defense. Ferguson's going to try and call that in. Butler disagrees. I'm with Butler on this one. Oh, stand by your ground, mate. Look like he has just ran that into the end zone and called it a goal. Said, that's close enough, lads. We're done here. We'll look at the replay. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm a bit harsh. I'm allowed to be, though. And, we're getting a super slow-mo replay now. Yeah, look at that. So he has totally just jumped that in. I'm sorry, Jaden Ferguson. You just got outed, mate. We just seen a goal be scored by running it into the end zone. Nichols to Paul. And Manly will go on offense. Pastors. Calder with a big forehand. He's going to have to go. He does. Malone had in hand. He got there. He didn't complete the catch, though. Nothing short of explosive. Booth. Finds Nichols. To Booth again. There's Kobe Ryan. Nichols. Bit of a wayward throw. Turnover, so Calder's going to get this. Manly. They're inside the red zone. Calder reaches out very comfortably. And he's going to go outside in. Outside in. It's another incomplete pass, this time Richards bidding.
Yeah, Jordan. We're loving it, Manly.
That throw by Calder was nearly inch perfect, just a tad too far. As the disc is located and then returned back to the field of play. Another opportunity for Krank. Booth. Nichols goes. Booth doesn't send it to him. And Richards intercepts it. Calder back to Richards. Calder. Looks like he's got some throwing chops, does young Calder. Jeffrey. Now to a Richards of another variety. Throw. Pastors lets it go. And it's blocked by Nichols. Pastors needed to catch that. And he didn't. Ryan. What a grab. Upton now. Gets it to Tim Booth. Nichols with the out. Booth is going to back him in. James Nichols just dropping the disc. He got there and maybe perhaps just a little bit off timing with the jump. A little bit too late, so hands and feet and body not where it needed to be. So Calder. Richards. Pastors. Is there going to be a nice looking flat forehand? Calder in the area, but the block is affected. Looks like Upton, who's got in there and broke up that pass. And there is a timeout. This point has been going for a while now. There's some nice spirit between Upton and Calder. As we see the Krank fans have just rolled into the live chat. Five. Krank well in front in this game, 20 minutes now to go. I think in games like this, when you're behind the mayhem, just a bit of craziness and a bit of chaos is really what you want. I think Manly are.
Thanks for coming out, Dan. That was East and Southern's last weekend. It was pretty wide.
That's all right.
12 hours driving. I beat you. I did 17.
Well, you had further to go coming from Adelaide across. Mike Palmer, thank you for coming to join me on the commentary
for a moment. Man. I thought you'd give it a bit of a chop out. You've been chatting a bit. Oh, it's so much nicer when it's not raining, Dan. This is almost nice.
Yeah, and the sky continues to look okay. Like it's
like the thin clouds now, not the thick clouds, right?
Yeah, when they start to get a bit dark, that's when you get a bit worried here in this part of the country.
Those jump ins, Dan, I see heaps of them. They're almost always in, like 99 out of 100. So if someone jumps it in, call them out anyway. Is my MO at the moment.
Well, Jaden Ferguson is...
Unless they're like clearly flying in the air, like if they're absolutely, clearly off the ground, but...
There is a reason for that. Like, it's a lot to coordinate. Like, you've got to jump, then catch, then land.
And there's a moment where your foot's on the ground, but your momentum's gone up where it feels like your foot's off the ground, but your foot's not actually off the ground. So
Yeah.
gravity's a bitch.
Ferguson's run one in.
Yeah.
He scored a try.
Oh, I saw it in real time. Anyway, I better get back to the camera, eh?
Oh, dear. Mike Palmer, co-founder of ulti.TV with yours truly. Started this in the front room of Mike's house in Adelaide. Oh, that is just another turn. Tom Rowe, a lazy attempt at a catch. And Manly. Ride the momentum, ride the chaos, make it crazy. Calder on the edge. Yeah, there it is, Richards. And Manly, don't they love it? The boys are getting around him. At 6'9", they got a long way to go, but maybe that energy is what leads them back into this game. Back to the replay to see that it's Richards working in space, and when you give a receiver that long and then hold it with enough, basically just got a good enough spot. Manly, now they're still down a bit in this game. There is time. If they're going to make a comeback, though, it needs to be now. They're going to run out of time otherwise. Before we'll know it, we will be at time cap. You have to think there's only really Krank need to score two or so, and they'll win this game. Kay picks it up. Mitchell. Keys. Gray works underneath. Fulford. Kobe Ryan down the field has copped a smack in the face and he's just running it off. Mitchell to space. He's going to have to fly. He doesn't. Moss bring it to the front line. Tap it in. You get Manly offense going. Jarek. Oh, what a big time block by Mark Fulford. Big layout block on this near sideline. Revisit the block and Keys marshalling his offense as he walks back in. Ryan. Short to Keys instead. Ryan. Doing a bit of everything right now, working as both a receiver and a handler. The block getter Fulford. And now the quick pass through the hands of Ferguson to Keys, who's in the red zone. There's Ryan popping up again. Ryan's going to throw a hammer to Mitchell. Okay. Fulford with double happiness. Fulford places the disc gently on the grass on the end zone line. That's Krank's 10th score of the game. And really just some nice offense by this Wollongong squad. Manly still looking for answers at the moment. 10-7. actually 10-6 rather. We'll correct the score here in a moment. We've given Manly a free one at the moment, so we'll get that fixed. They can fix it for us here if they score. O'Brien, huge throw towards Calder. He's going to have to fly, and fly does the young man. And I think that's a little bit emblematic of the game. Can't doubt them for heart or effort. Just execution. Manly on the edge. Gray with a big backhand. Heading towards James Fletcher, who's run all the way around that. And with speed to burn, that's a goal. 11-6 now. Krank well and truly in control of this game. Gray wanting that flick, just doing enough, getting Calder out of the way on the mark. And then Fletcher just in behind the disc, but see, he easily tracks it down. Sometimes those throws can be really, really tricky. Tim Booth with disc in hand. Such a well-known player throughout Australian Ultimate. And this Krank team, this Krank club, there's a lot to thank Tim Booth for. It was Booth involved in the formation and the growth and the development of this club. Booth is beginning to get a little bit older in the years. He still comes out to help. I think the day in which Tim Booth hangs up the cleats will be bittersweet. Pastors. Moss. Moss who's played with his heart out there for all to see. O'Brien will go to Peter Ing, who's just kind of wandered his way into the end zone. And the defense hasn't picked him up on the way. Manly's 7th score. So 10 minutes to go now. Just a score that Manly really needed. It keeps them in touch, but they need to make a lot of progress very quickly.
Okay, Manly, let's keep going. We've got the momentum.
In fact, they need 3 points of progress. The pull by Richards. Mitchell to Keys. Over the far sideline. Krank gonna work out of a vertical. Gabby Ryan for Fulford. Ryan again. Keys. Throws it around to Fulford. Aidan McCabe inside to Jack Gray, and you can't help but be impressed. It's just so smooth. The timing is really starting to come together for Krank at the moment. Their offense is looking very smooth. Manly, despite their best efforts, they're struggling really to get any kind of pressure whatsoever on this Krank Crank offense is just doing it with ease. O'Brien. He's going to go outside in to Eng. Jarrett. He's called to travel and make up his ground. Calder. Calder's going to go inside out. I'm not sure that's the right throw. In fact, it's the perfect throw. Shows you what I know. When Calder, as a receiver, has been good, and he's got some throwing chops as well, does the young man. I would have thought that the hammer would have been the go-to there. Get it up and get it down quickly. Just thought that was going to float, but it didn't. Had enough edge, enough hyzer, but it didn't hang. And so Manly are still within 4, but they need a couple to close that gap back down. If they can get within 1, then they can continue playing, but the time being what they are, and this Krank offense looking really good at the moment. I get the feeling it's a tall ask. Mitchell gets out from underneath it and goes to James Maguire, who gets the just a full foot on his near side. Holder working against the athletic Jack Gray. Good matchup. McCabe goes to Keys, who finds himself down the field now. Ferguson to Keys, who stumbles and falls and lays out and catches it anyway. He doesn't look impressed, but I wouldn't be too sad about that, young Toto. With each passing moment and each Krank score, the equation just becomes harder for Manly. 5 points down. They've got to hold this offensive point, get it back to 4 points, and then only from there will they be able to fight their way back in, but it just has to be so fast. Well, in fact, that is time cap. Means that I think Manly has lost this game. Krank have won. It doesn't matter what happens here. We'll play out this point and that'll be the game. Manly just too far away. Moss. Past us. Krank running a bit of a zone. Butler. Back to Butler in the middle, going to Richards on the far sideline. Butler playing in the visor, bringing the visor back. Okay. With a floaty backhand. Moss combines with, and there's Pastors. Pastors in the end zone. Miller getting involved, and then Noah Moss puts it down the stretch, and that is the game. Krank win this one. An excellent performance for the red team from Wollongong. Manly, not enough. Just falling short in this one. So unlike the game where we covered I-Beam and Fishwick, where Fishwick got the nominal upset, this time it's Krank winning and getting the victory that we probably were expecting. Well, that ends our coverage of this game. We'll be back very shortly with the next game from the Eastern Regional Ultimate Championships. We'll see you